Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer today. I got this on here. Let me just wake up and do this here. All right. Today is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Mortgage Rate Update, the only place on the web where you guys get to be a part of the conversation. Appreciate you joining me. Remember, you can join me live each and every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time as I do these videos. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Don't forget to smash that like button, tag an hello friend, share us in a group if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, maybe the notification bell as well. Remember, if you'd like to sign up for our written email, Lock Advice, you can get that to your inbox each and every weekday morning, www.raylockadvice.com. You can get our text alerts, $7 a month. You can't beat them, you should join them. Check them out at www.raytextalerts.com. Last but not least, check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Find out how we can help you get loans from Google and social media. That's right. I used to watch that Micro Machines guy back in the late 80s, and I could talk just as fast as he could. Do you guys remember that, the Micro Machines guy? That's right. I can do all that. Let's say hi to the live folks here this morning. Go ahead and let me know if you're here. Say hello. Let me see who we got here this morning. We've got Rod here this morning. We got Mike Tebow, Tim Klyla, Yasmin. Yasmin, I did get your info, and it'll be in the mail in a day or so. Kyle Mazikas, good morning, all. Great to see all of you here. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk about what we got going on this morning. This morning, rate sheets are going to be a smidge better than yesterday. Nothing crazy, but mortgage-backed securities up 13 basis points to start the day, 98.84 on that 5.5 coupon. Sometimes y'all ask me, well, why aren't we following the 6? Because it's basically the same thing. Look at the shape. It goes up, it goes down, right? It looks like a little ski jump. It goes up, it comes down, and then boop. Same thing when you look at the 5.5. These coupons are really running neck and neck. It doesn't matter which one of these we're actually watching. We can go into some of the little micro moves, but really, it honestly, it doesn't matter. According to MBS Live and Matt Graham, they've got a little star next to the 5.5. That's likely because it has the most trading volume. And that's why I'm still following that one. But otherwise, it doesn't really matter. The 10-year Treasury yield, though, check this out, 4.31 right now. We are really holding heavy to this 4.32 level, right? So take a look here. I'm going to pull that 10-year Treasury. Let me go ahead and I'm going to pop open a let's go ahead and take a screenshot real quick. Put this up on the screen for you, just like that. Let's go ahead and red's a terrible color. Let's change that to yellow. Yellow. Okay, there we go. So you could see that we were right at that 4.32 mark here. And that's where we've kind of hit that level and where we've been closing. You can see we hit it back here. We're hitting it again here. Now, if tomorrow's meeting blows us past that and we get above that, that's going to be a really bad sign. Because if we do go above that, that's going to push us back to where we were back here in November and the end of October. And if you remember back in October over here, those were the worst rates. Those were 8s. Which are gross. I know some of you even said you've seen 8s already, which is gross, but it should be in the 7s right now. But again, 4.32. If we do push up, we've got some help over here, right around this 4.66 mark, right around here somewhere. We'll get a little bit of help and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, taking a look here, I mean, you could see. Look at the technical resistance from improving. All these different lines that you see here, these moving averages, those would be resistance from actually seeing yield drop. But more importantly, we're capping out here and we're getting some support from 4.32, but that could change very, very quickly tomorrow with whatever happens. So we got to be ready for that. Looking at mortgage-backed securities, though, this morning, let's make this just a little bit smaller so we can fit it on the screen. There you go. We got a nice little bump up this morning and just kind of some movement. Repairs risk on the day is low. It's the calm before the storm. Tomorrow we of course, get the Fed meeting, and I'll talk more about the Fed stuff tomorrow. We're going to just highlight a couple of things real quick here, but it's all about that calm before the storm. As far as lock advice goes, I would be cautiously floating. Let me put this on the side by side and let's kind of talk a little bit together. Hold on, let me get this here. Boop. All right, and put this like this. All right, I got what I wanted here. So let me pop that on. Hop up next to it. Okay, so take a look here. We improved, right? We did really nicely. We kind of capped out here, and I said we were probably close to capping. And I had been in a locking stance these few days here. We lost a lot more ground. We kind of went through last week in a locking stance. Now we're back in the same range. See this right here? We're in that same range as where we were. So yesterday I switched to a cautiously floating stance. I said on Friday that based on, depending on how Monday turned out, if we saw signs of a reversal, that I figured we were probably close to finished with seeing rates creep higher. And we did see that here. You could see that mortgage rates, again, they went up 6.85, 87, 92, 94, 702, 709, 711. And we're basically, we should be capped out. Now, a lot's going to happen on tomorrow. Here's the thing. I am far from assured that tomorrow is going to be good for mortgage rates, but I want to leave the door open. The one wonderful thing, I say this every time we have a Fed meeting, the one wonderful thing about the Fed meetings is that they happen in the middle of the day. We get a 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to get the Fed statement. It is basically a gimme that they are not going to raise or cut the Fed funds rate at this meeting. 99% expectation it's going to stay exactly where it is. That's what the Fed's going to do, right? They're not going to raise, they're not going to cut, but they are going to come out with a new dot plot. Now, if we looked at that last dot plot, let me see if I pop it up on the screen. It'll be small, but you can still see it. Looking here for 2024, right here, this was the 4.5, which would bring us 3 rate cuts of a quarter point apiece for a total of 3/4 of a point, 75 basis points by the end of 2024. That's what the last dot plot gave us in December. Now we're going to get a new dot plot, and the expectation is that we're going to see a couple of these folks jump ship to a higher rate. And it's expected that we will see, instead of 3 expected Fed rate cuts, it'll go down to 2. Now, remember, when we were looking at our best interest rates back in December, when we saw mortgage bonds that were hitting their best levels up here, this was back in let's go all the way to here. Let's go to 6 months, and so we can see it a little clearer. All right, so you could see here we are now. Right, we dipped down. Now back up here, when we were in some of our best rates here in December, and we were up here, that was because, see how much higher that was? That was because there was expectation that we were going to see 6 rate cuts. Markets are really pricing it in. They thought we'd see the first one in March. That has all gone away. Fed futures, we don't expect to see a rate cut in March. Of course, we are not expecting to see one in May. So this is off the table. Market's not pricing it in. The June cut has remained. Look at this. It's actually improved a little bit that we're going to see expectations of a June cut. Markets have been 60 to 65% expecting a cut in June. That's what they're currently projecting. If we get a very hawkish Fed press conference statement, dot plot, if that pushes this down and markets start to give up hope that we're going to see a June cut and they push back to July or even September, then that's going to affect things. So what we're looking at tomorrow is, again, here's 4.5 right now, 35% expectation, the highest probability that we're going to see 3 rate cuts for the year. That's what markets are pricing in. If the Fed starts to get more hawkish tomorrow because of the recent weakness, right? We're not going to see inflation go down. Job market's still doing well. Economy still doing well. Well, if we see that, this could be bad for rates and pricing. So we're cautiously floating. I don't think we have much of a shot to see things improve much from here, though. I really don't. I think we're going to see rates move back up again. It seems like every time that we get that, it's like that old Eddie Murphy bit. I think was it Delirious or he's like, I got some but you can't have none because you on welfare. And then he says, you want to lick? Want to lick? I guess what's happening. It says, oops, connection lost, reconnect. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the comments, please, because it's, there you go. Amber, there is no such thing, my friend, as a dumb question. No such thing. So Mike Morano said, how much is CME Group? Mike, this is absolutely free. Just Google CME FedWatch tool. They actually post this for free. They have other data that you can buy, much deeper than what we need to be looking at. But you can get this for free. So Google CME FedWatch tool. Amber, never, ever, ever any dumb questions. Pricing it in. What that means is mortgage-backed securities and bonds are watching what's going on here. So if you buy bonds today at a rate of return of say 5.5%, which is what this coupon is, right? This is a coupon that you're buying at 5.5%. Now, this is, let's say that you were going to buy $100 worth of coupons, but you're going to get it for $98.83. You're actually getting a discount. It's on sale. Why is it on sale? Because 5.5% is a low interest rate compared to what you could be getting in the open market. And that's why if you look at the 6% coupon, that one is at $100.42. So you're going to pay a premium for that coupon. You're going to pay $100 and an extra 42 cents to get $100 worth of coupon. That's going to give you a 6% rate of return, whereas that 5% is going to be at a 98.83. So with these interest rates, if the Fed raises interest rates, your rate of return of 5.5% is low, because if the Fed raises rates, that raises all rates, including rate of return on investments and things like look at I have savings accounts right now doing 4.5%. My mortgage is 4.125%. I actually make more money putting my money into a savings account where it's FDIC insured, 100% safe, than I do if I were to pay it off towards my mortgage. So I'm actually not doing any prepayment on my mortgage because all of my money is going into other areas, including savings accounts, because you get such a higher rate of return. So when I say markets are pricing this in, what it means is they are looking at what they expect the Fed to do, and we're seeing rates react accordingly. Generally, if markets believe the Fed will cut rates in June, if we see this number decrease, because this is the idea that it would stay the same. If we see this number increase, right? It's currently 60% expectation that the Fed is going to cut rates from 5.25% to 5% in June. That's what markets are pricing in. These are Fed futures. Basically, these are what, if you were betting on when the Fed is going to cut rates, you could actually invest and bet on that and say, well, I think the Fed is going to cut, in June, and I'm going to buy these. And they're a financial instrument. So if markets believe, if this number shoots up after Wednesday's meeting, then mortgage rates will improve, because markets are currently expecting that we will see things stay the same in May, and then possibly see an improvement in June. That's what investors are basically counting on. And when I say markets are pricing that in, what that means is that's reflected in what you see for the 10-year Treasury yield. It's reflected in the pricing at mortgage bonds, and they will change their stance based on what is expected to happen in the future, both here, how soon it will start, as well as when we will see at the end of the year. So right now, markets are pricing in the idea that we're going to see 3 Fed rate hikes, and Fed futures are a good indicator of what market participants, traders are currently pricing. Based on the way they're investing right now, and that affects our mortgage rates, this is the expectation. If we see this expectation decline, and we see the expectation of 4.75% go up, that means mortgage rates are going to creep higher, because that's not good for interest rates over the course of the year. So when I say that markets are pricing it in, it means that the rates that you're quoting for mortgage rates are actually affected on the speculation of what's going to happen with that Fed funds rate and with the rest of the economy through the rest of the year with inflation. That's what that means by markets pricing it in. So again, my pleasure, never a dumb question. Please, guys, your interaction and your comments are what make this thing. So good morning to Steve Lacefield, Mike Marana, Bobby Searson, Teresa Jones. Good morning. Kelly Cargill, Lisa Bollinger, Megan Lindbergh. Great to see so many of you. Virginia, Brandy Brickler. Mike said, did you see Obama meeting with UK Prime Minister? No, I didn't. I missed that one. So no problemo. So, all right, y'all. Well, anyway, that's it for today. We're going to talk more tomorrow. We'll go into some more detail about what actually, let me get rid of this. So, and Christopher said, thank you for the guidance as always. Christopher, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. So this is one thing I did want to bring up this morning, though. I wanted you guys to see. This was an article in Bloomberg. The Fed has a lot of questions to answer about its balance sheet. There's 2 things the Fed is doing that are, basically manipulating mortgage rates, right? The adjustment of the Fed funds rate, whether they raise it, lower it, leave it the same, and then what they're doing with their balance sheet, which is quantitative tightening. They're currently doing what's called balance sheet runoff. They're letting their bonds go back into the market. So So mortgage rates, when mortgage-backed securities are selling for a premium, mortgage rates improve. Okay. And how do you make mortgage bonds sell for a premium? Well, if there's more demand than supply. So if the Fed creates artificial demand by basically printing money or hitting that digital button and putting it in their account and buying up these mortgage-backed securities along with treasuries, they artificially get rates to go lower. They get mortgage rates to drop. And that's what they did during COVID, which is why we saw rates so low, which is why the housing market took off and overheated, and why we're paying for that today with golden handcuffs and not enough inventory. So again, they react to what they have to do based on the current environment, but the effects, it does ripple down the road. So right here, we're looking at the, basically this idea here. But what happens if you have more supply than demand? Well, then prices drop. And that's where we see mortgage rates go up. When these bond prices drop, what happens is we go higher and higher in coupons to get a yield that is not at a big discount, right? So there was a time, right now we're only showing the 5.5 and the 6, but these go 6, 5.5, 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3. They go all the way down. Well, if you were going to buy a 3.5 coupon, I can't even pull it up. I don't have access to that through this, right? But it's probably, why would you get a 3.5% coupon? Why would you buy a coupon giving you a 3.5% interest rate? Well, the only way you're going to do it is if you get it at a huge discount. So if you were buying $100 coupon that's giving you 3.5%, you're going to buy it, I don't know, maybe like $87 right now. And that difference spread out over the life of the coupon increases your yield. So it brings that 3.5 return back up to, say, a 5.5 return. Because you're going to get paid the $100 when that coupon matures. You're going to get that. And again, I'm oversimplifying. There's early payoff, blah, blah, blah. I know, y'all, but let's just pretend. Okay. You're going to get that $100 when that coupon matures, and you're going to get that full 100, but you only paid $87. So you got $13. Or if the value of it goes up later and you sell it, you're going to make your money on that. That's why that premium, that's why these are always adjusting in price, basically manipulating the yield, how much return on investment people are getting on their money. So if this coupon, if we were to see this coupon, if we see interest rates drop, those lower coupons then become more valuable. If the Fed is flooding the market and there's a lot more supply, then again, you have to lower the price to get that extra supply, which makes mortgage rates more expensive. That's the problem. So this article here, definitely one that you want to keep an eye on, because it talks about, officials will have an in-depth conversation on quantitative tightening this week. I don't know which they're talking about officials at the Fed meeting, but they're not, of course, doing that publicly. They've been kind of alluding that they're going to reduce the quantitative tightening, which would be good for mortgage rates. It would help things improve, because right now they're putting extra supply into the market, which there's less demand. So then you have lower prices. So basically, I guess their portfolio is still at 7.5 trillion. And nope, I didn't want that. Let's go back here. Oh, here we go. This is an old, actually, it's not that old of an article. But basically, quantitative tightening, how does it work? What's the scope? Blah, blah, blah. So we've talked that's basically all the things that we're actually talking about here. So this is something that we're going to see a lot of too as we head into tomorrow's meeting. We're going to be talking more about this quantitative. So it's not just the fact that the Fed's not going to lower rates, but if they don't feel that they have to worry about quantitative tightening and they can continue to sell off and improve their balance sheet, well, that's another thing that's going to go kind of check against us for mortgage rates. So bottom line, I'll throw it back up here one more time. I don't think rates are going to improve from here anytime soon. I don't think this Fed meeting is going to help us, but we do have the opportunity to at least float into it and see with minimal risk. But you're going to want to be ready to lock loans tomorrow during the Fed meeting, at the conclusion at 2 p.m. when they come out with their policy statement and the new dot plot, and especially with Fed Chair Jerome Powell's press conference at 2:30. So join me tomorrow. I'll talk more about it. We'll talk about what we think is going to happen and all that good stuff. I'll be here live 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll chat all about it. And I'll see you then. Take care, everybody, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.